Hello, I am Megan Chappa, and I am pleased to welcome for the first time on the video Matthew Wahlgren. Matthew was my very first guest on the podcast, and now he's here to join me talking about his most recent trip, which was a luxury safari to Kenya. And these are his top 5 tips of what you need to do when your transportation, accommodation, and meals are already taken care of. Welcome to the program, Matt.
Hi, Megan. How
Hi.
are you?
Great. Matt, thanks for doing both a podcast episode and this video snippet with me. Can you take 1 second to introduce yourself to people who are watching?
Yeah, I'm Matt Wahlgren. I am a travel advisor. I help people plan their trips, particularly focused on Europe and cruising, ocean cruising, river cruising. But I can help people with other. I'm become really good at researching different trips and stuff. So I help people all over the world. I do like adventure trips myself. I just happen to know Europe really well, and so that's where I tend to focus.
Great. So, Matt, let's just jump right in with why people might be hesitant to take a African safari, even though they would really love to go. What might be a holdback, and how do we get around that?
Yeah, when people think Africa, they think, oh, jungle, bugs, wild animals. Maybe it's too hot, maybe it's too wet.
Yes.
They just think it's might be uncomfortable. But when you go there, you find that there are comfortable ways to travel in Africa. You're not going to be sleeping in little huts necessarily. There are
Mm-hmm.
these luxury African safaris where you get to stay in really nice lodges and so on.
Awesome. And you just came back from one, so let's get right on into it.
So this was our first encounter with lions. We had a few encounters, and this was our first one, so it was really exciting. We had to go in at different angles. We were actually really rather far away. You can't tell in the video, but we're pretty far away. I had to zoom in, and I got some really good tips from actually some of the other people I was traveling with, just using I have a Pixel 2. And what I found when I was, zooming in initially, it was kind of blurry, and I wasn't able to focus that well. But I just tapped on the lions, and then it came really nice, clear, and focused, kind of like you see here in the video. So that was like our first really cool experience.
The sweetest video that you took, you know who it is.
Oh, the cheetahs.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, so that was incredible. That was one of the last videos I shot. We had been kind of tracking these cheetahs and there's 7 baby cubs there for a little bit. They'd always been kind of far in the distance, eating a carcass or something. But finally, we saw them get up and they were on the move. And so we moved in a little bit closer, and then they moved in closer until you see them right here, just crossing right in front of us. It was a pretty awesome and incredible experience. And seeing something like 7 baby cheetahs,
Mm-hmm.
that's rare for a litter of that size, and even to be as healthy and as strong as they are and look in the video.
Yeah, they look like 7 chunky balls of snuggly fur. I'm sure that's not true. But they look awesome and sweet and snuggly. Okay, the next one we're looking at is you with an elephant.
Oh, the elephant. Yeah, so that's my little accidental, not accidental, selfie with the elephant. So
Mm.
that one, we were on the road and we went just right by. It's a bull elephant. He's just hanging out by the side of the road eating. We drove just past him, and then everybody in our little van, we took little selfies with it. That was a really close encounter with the elephant, probably closer maybe than we should have been, but really cool at the same time. He didn't seem that scared of us though. He was just chilling there eating some grass.
That's good. That's good. Glad he wasn't worried about you, because that is a big guy right there.
Yeah.
Tell us about people encounters.
Oh, yeah. So we had an opportunity to meet with a local tribe. We had been out exploring in different parks nearby for a couple days, and we would drive by this tribe, and they have these like warriors out there kind of guarding, standing by. And so one day our driver decided to stop and say, hey, could we come by later and like hang out and visit with you and see, what it's like to live, in the way that you live. And so they said, yeah, come by later today. So we did that, and it was really cool. They, welcomed us with open arms. We met all their families, even got to go inside their, little homes and
Hmm.
see what it's like to live in there. We danced.
I see some dancing.
Yeah, it was really embarrassing. They did like I don't know. First they got all the women and they danced, and then they brought us in, and it was cool. You can see how much rhythm I don't have,
You're a
but
good
it was fun.
sport.
It was fun. Yeah.
All right, Matt, let's talk about, the creature comforts. This picture is of the Ark Lodge in Aberdare National Park, and we're looking at a water hole, and this is a pretty amazing place. Would you tell us about this?
Yeah, so this was our first night out in the wilderness. And what they've done here at the Ark, which is really cool, is we don't go out and explore. We
Hmm.
stay in the Ark, hang out on the patios, and the animals come and visit us. So it's kind of a reverse situation. It's like we're in the zoo caged up and the animals are coming to see us. They've got this nice watering hole there that attracts them. We see Cape buffalo wandering, different
Hmm.
kinds of gazelles, and then my favorite at the time was the warthogs because it always reminds me of Pumbaa
I
from
love
The Lion
Pumbaa.
King. Yeah, so
All right, old
that makes
Pumbaa
me kind
or
of
new Pumbaa?
no, 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 no. Old Pumbaa,
Old
old
Pumbaa,
Pumbaa,
all the way.
original Pumbaa.
Hashtag original Pumbaa. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, let's talk about as far as accommodations go. In our podcast, we talk about the different levels of accommodations, which you should definitely go listen to. And that is at travelradiopodcast.com. It'll be the most recent episode when you get there. But this was, and this does not look rough, but this was actually, did you say this was the least plush of the accommodations?
Yeah, that would probably be the more basic. They were the rooms were petite, I would say. They did have two small beds in them. The one that I had, nice small bathroom. It was not typical American big size accommodations, and not. I mean, the other accommodations we have are more luxurious and bigger.
Hmm.
But these ones, it was cool though because the animals were right there, and you could even if you had a room with a view, you can open up your window at night and listen to the symphony of the jungle and the sounds and peek out and see if you might catch a rare sighting or something like that. So it was really cool.
Awesome. Now, what about, I have a picture of a bed here that you sent, and it is under mosquito netting, but it's not too enclosed. It looks actually very nice and airy.
Yeah, so the rest of those accommodations were all nice and big. That netting when I first went in there that first night was a little. That's when ooh, what am I getting into here tonight? I was a little bit nervous, but it did protect me from the bugs. They did burn some cedar wood chips, which repelled them as well. And I didn't, the time frame that I went, or just maybe I was lucky, there wasn't a lot of bug encounters, so it
Yes.
worked out really well.
Awesome. So then let's talk about some of the dining that you encountered.
Yeah, so my first night in Nairobi, I ventured off on my own. I wanted to get some really good local food, and I found this kind of local kitchen. And I got this really nice, I don't know exactly what it was. It was chicken. It was stewed in some sauce. It was really great. It was a little portion, but then it came with this huge portion of plantains,
Hmm.
which was, I guess, like the starch component. And it was, I really liked finishing my plate, but it was so much, and I'm not used to eating that many. I probably got through half the plate of plantains. That was like the side dish, although it was bigger than the main dish.
Yeah.
And they kind of looked at me, "You're not going to finish?" But I was like, I got through as much as I could.
So what you don't know about Matt is he is a very adventurous eater, and for a dish to beat him is pretty hard. So congrats, Matt. They beat you over there.
Yeah, man versus food. I
Man
guess
versus
food
food.
won that one.
Before we get on to the video of the food, there's one picture that I have kind of out of order that I want to get to, and this is just a magical scene. And I think we're in Sarova Mara Game Camp, and it is this magic. I mean, you think there's going to be a unicorn that runs by? It's the
Oh.
rainbow.
Well, you know what? We saw, had an incredible experience and saw so many different kinds of animals, not even counting the birds. You might have thought we almost thought maybe we would see a unicorn, but we did see a rainbow. And this was at the end of our trip. This was like the last photo I took on our last game drive. And so it really was incredible. It was a nice sort of end cap to a really amazing experience.
Yeah, it looks like it. Okay, let's talk. Let's get back to food. We'll circle back, and this is a video of the carnivore.
Oh, the carnivore can. Yeah. So this is really cool. So this is like a big barbecue, circular barbecue where they're roasting or, barbecuing all the different meats. They have very different kind of meats that we're not accustomed to. Of course, they have like chicken and that kind of thing, but they had like ostrich
Hmm.
and trying to remember like gazelle and stuff like that, things that you don't typically find back at home. So for me, it was really interesting because I like trying all the different kind of stuff, food stuff that I can't get back at home.
Yeah, and if I'm correct from when I went, they just keep feeding you until you kind of say, I'm done.
Yeah, it's like a Brazilian barbecue kind of style. They just keep coming and coming and coming with the food.
Yes,
It's really cool.
it's a good experience. Okay, so that was a great overview for people to know that you can travel to Africa and not have to, sleep on the ground and not sleep in tents. There are some fantastic options for you, and Matt is all about that. So, Matt, let's
Did you
get
want me
in.
to tell you the weirdest thing that I ate though?
Oh, please tell us the weirdest thing you ate.
Yeah, so the weirdest thing I had never had before, and it was known as Rocky Mountain oysters or bull balls, literally balls with a
No.
ball. So yeah, I mean, they offered it, and I said, okay, I guess this is my time to try it. I'd heard of it before, but it wasn't. No, I tried it. I didn't like it, but I said, okay, I'm going to try it again. A second bite, and no, still didn't like it. It kind of had, I would say, like a sweaty kind of taste,
Oh,
and
Matt.
so that was not.
That's exactly how you would imagine it would taste. That's
Right.
horrible. That's horrible. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, let's move. Okay, let's move on to. Unless you want to go back to that, we're going to move on to your tips. So, so
All right.
now, okay, so we're moving on to tip one. So this is luxury tips for traveling on a luxury safari to Kenya because they've covered your transportation, they've covered your accommodation, they've covered your meals. But what can you be doing to prepare? Because there still are some things you need. So Matt, let's talk
Yeah.
about proper gear.
For a trip like this, you really want to have the right gear. And so what I did, I went to my local outdoorsy sort of shop, and I said, hey, I'm going on a safari. What do I need? So they hooked me up with this gal, and she took me around the whole store and started showing me, okay, this is, you want this, you want this, you need these things. You really want quick drying pants, but also quick drying underwear, because if your pants are quick drying, but your underwear is not, then it's still uncomfortable.
Oh,
You do want a light rain, like windbreaker, like a rainproof jacket. Not heavy because it can be warm, but you still want to be protected from the rain, but you don't want to be too hot. And then for me, she showed me, and I thought it was really great, was this sort of anti-funk underwear and shirt, which was great. And I tested it. I wore them for 5 days straight. And I even had other travelers smell it for me, not the underwear, but like I brought them into them. Is it just me? Do I not stink? Because I thought I should by then, right?
yeah.
And they came in, even went in for the pits and everything. And no, they didn't stink. They said I didn't stink. I didn't smell it. It was great. So I'm loving that gear. The anti-funk gear is great. And I think it's just great even just for long haul flights anywhere. You're stuck on a 10, 15-hour flight. It's
Yeah.
great to have some anti-funk attire.
Yeah. And what else did you have?
For the attire, oh well, you got to have. Well, I didn't get one. I wanted to look a little bit, not so safari-ish, but have all my gear. I didn't want to be that traditional safari guy. But when I arrived for this tour, they gave me my safari hat, and I'm glad that they did, because you got to have a safari hat on a safari.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So, what about this is something I hadn't thought about, but this has to do with the long days of driving.
Yeah, so you think, Africa safari adventurous, right? But you're going to be sitting down a lot because you're in the vehicle and you're driving around. It's a bumpy ride. After a while, your butt starts to get a little sore.
Hmm.
So I do recommend either getting one of those like little donut things, or just repurposing your neck pillow on the
Yes.
plane and putting that down. Or even I have one that's reversible and it turns into a square pillow. So I just put that down on my seat and sat on it once it started getting a little rough, and that's makes it a lot more comfortable for those hours in sitting in the van or the Jeep.
Good. Good. Okay. How about bug spray?
So bug spray, it's got to be DEET. I've tried the other stuff that say they're just as good as DEET. They're not as good as DEET. You got to get DEET. That's the only thing
Hmm.
that really works, at least for me. So stick with the DEET. The other great thing is if you want to pack light, right? So if you get the DEET wipes, you can put those on your carry-on. They don't count as liquid. So it's a nice little way to be able to pack light and not worry about carrying all these liquids.
Yeah, good tip. Okay, how about keeping your camera out?
Yeah, so you never know what you're going to see and what's around the corner. So you want your camera handy. And if you have a phone like mine, like a Pixel, or I'm sure iPhone has their way, but all I have to do is hit the power button twice really quick and the camera pops right up and I can take my video or my photos. I do recommend taking a lot of video because you can always take photos from the video. And in video, there could be some action shot. You never know what's going to happen. So you want to have a lot of video and then just grab your pictures from it as you need.
Good tip, good tip. Okay, and then this is your last tip, which is just simply take it in.
Yeah, so not to exactly negate my last tip, but once you've gotten your good shots for the day or at the end of the trip, probably at the end of each day or at some point, just take some time to just relax, put the camera down, put everything away, and just sort of revel in the moment and everything that you're seeing and really notice it and pay attention and feel it and enjoy it. Don't get lost in your phones and everything all the time. Take some time each day to just take it in.
That's a good tip. All right, Matt, how can people contact you?
Well, you can reach me at www.matt.travel or email me at matt@matt.travel. And I'd love to talk to you more about the safari trip or any trip that you're interested in going on. I love talking about travel. And if you do too, then I think we'll get along really well.
Great. Thanks for being my guest, Matt.
Thanks. Is it good?